multi-club ownership model is often criticised as something that damages football. Groups like Red Bull, City Football Group, and even Chelsea's link with Strasbourg are accused of turning clubs into satellites, existing primarily to serve a parent organisation. There are many clubs that do it, those are just 3 examples. But long before these models became fashionable, a similar experiment was already taking place, and it started in Africa during the 1990s when the continent became a hotbed of footballing talent. And European clubs did what Europeans have always historically done when it comes to Africa. They weren't looking to take it. In 1999, 2 South African clubs based in Cape Town, Seven Stars, which was founded in 1995, and Cape Town Spurs, founded in 1970, merged to form a new club. That club was Ajax Cape Town. The project was backed by Ajax of Amsterdam, or AFC Ajax. We're going to be calling them Ajax Amsterdam. They took a 51% ownership stake, and the idea was simple: build a development hub in Africa, identify elite talent early, and feed it into Ajax's famous footballing system. The link was inspired by Ajax signing of Benny McCarthy from Seven Stars in 1997, which highlighted both quality and the potential of South African footballers. Ajax Cape Town would be built around a heavily funded academy modelled on the principle of the original Ajax. And in some ways, the project worked. A number of players passed through Ajax Cape Town on their way to the main Ajax club and careers in Europe, most notably Steven Pienaar, who found success, fame and fortune with Everton, Thulani Serero and Lassina Traore. Serero was the clearest success of the academy system, joining the club at under 14 level before progressing all the way to Ajax Amsterdam's first team. Pienaar and Traore were not necessarily academy products, but both completed the key stages of their development at Ajax Cape Town before moving abroad. Despite this, the talent pipeline never became as consistent or as productive as Ajax Amsterdam had hoped. On the pitch, Ajax Cape Town were competitive but never dominant. They never won the South African Premiership, finishing runners-up on 3 occasions. They did, however, enjoy success in cup competitions, including the South African League Cup in 2000 and 2008, that one in 2000 being their first major trophy as Ajax Cape Town. The Nedbank Cup in 2007 and the MTN 8 in 2015, which is a Super 8 tournament for the top 8 clubs in South Africa. Still, the league title, the ultimate measure of success, always remained out of reach. Following the 2010 FIFA World Cup, Ajax Cape Town moved to a newly built Cape Town Stadium, replacing the old Green Point Stadium. The new ground was modern, impressive, and held over 55,000 fans, which was similar to the size of the Johan Cruyff Arena. But that was the problem. Ajax Cape Town simply could not fill it. Even with respectable attendances by South African standards, the stadium still felt empty, expensive to operate, and disconnected the club from its identity. Instead of driving growth, the move became another obstacle. South African football has long been dominated by clubs from Johannesburg and Pretoria, located in the Gauteng province. You could argue that Cape Town has always leaned more towards rugby union than professional football, reflected in the success of Western Province / the Stormers, who dominate the Currie Cup, and the Stormers who play in the United Rugby Championship against teams from Ireland, Wales and Scotland. Ajax Cape Town were fighting not just opponents, but geography and sporting culture. Ajax Cape Town was not an isolated project. Around the same time, Ajax Amsterdam owned 51% of the Ghanaian club Ashanti Goldfields, controlled a majority stake in Germinal Beerschot in Belgium, a club that we've looked at in the past, and briefly operated a club in the United States. Ajax Cape Town was the longest running of these experiments, but also the most complex. Everything changed during the 2017-18 season. Ajax Cape Town were relegated from South Africa's Premiership after being docked points for fielding Tendai Enduro, who was an ineligible player under FIFA regulations. Without the points deduction, the club would have survived. Instead, relegation proved devastating. The club failed to bounce back, missing out on promotion in multiple attempts. At the same time, Cape Town City emerged as a new local rival, drawing attention, fans, and resources. Even worse for Ajax Amsterdam, players being sent to the Netherlands were no longer progressing into the first team and just ended up with their youth team, Young Ajax. Then came a fatal internal decision. Ajax Cape Town dismissed Hans Vonk, the head of youth development and Ajax Amsterdam's primary representative within the club. The fallout was immediate. Head coach Andreas Udelink resigned, and Ajax Amsterdam effectively lost visibility and influence over what was happening on the ground. This was particularly damaging because Ajax had always allowed the minority shareholders to control the day-to-day operation, trusting that the footballing masses remained aligned with Amsterdam. That trust was now gone. In 2020, Ajax Amsterdam officially ended its 21-year partnership, selling its 51% stake. The club was rebranded as Cape Town Spurs, reviving the identity of one of its original predecessors. The Ajax name and the project was gone. Cape Town Spurs briefly returned to the top flight of South African football in the early 2020s, but stability never followed. The club suffered further relegations, eventually dropping out of the South African professional leagues and into the regional divisions. What was once one of the most ambitious footballing projects in Africa had quietly collapsed. Ajax Cape Town was one of football's earliest multi-club experiments. It developed talent, won trophies, and lasted over 2 decades, but it also exposed the limits of treating a club as a development outpost rather than a destination. Long before Red Bull or City Football Group, Ajax learned a lesson the hard way. A football club cannot survive forever as just being a satellite.